Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakar Kadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Much respect to the brothers laboring out on the highways and byways in truth and sincerity to wake up the elect of the children of Israel. This lesson is going to be entitled Plagues and Pestilence Sent as Scourges. Alright? And let's jump right into it. This is 2 Esdras chapter 15 and verse 1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Most High, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. Incredulity just simply means unbelief. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Behold, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashaw, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hopeful works are fulfilled. We'll jump down to verse 49. It says, I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence, to waste thy houses with destruction and death. Alright? Let's take a look at a couple articles I got. Salakia. Alright, so this is from Vox. It says, post-antibiotic era is here. In the U.S., one person dies every 15 minutes because of drug resistance. This article was November 14th, 2019. Yeah, Caragma. Alright? And Lord willing, I'll leave this in the description box. Now, check this out. I ain't noticed. Now, it says, finding the best ways to do good made possible by the Rockefeller Foundation. Right? Now, I know those devils. Alright? It says, every 15 minutes, one person in the U.S. dies because of an infection that antibiotics can no longer treat effectively. Says that's 35,000 deaths a year. This striking estimate comes from a major new report released Wednesday by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Says on the urgent problem of antibiotic resistance. Says although the report focuses on the U.S., this is a global crisis. 700,000 people around the world die of drug-resistant diseases each year. And if we don't make a radical change now, it could rise to 10 million by 2050. What did we just read? Let's go back up. This is 2 Esdras chapter 15 and verse 5. Behold, saith the Lord Yahweh Shai, I will send plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. Alright? It says, drugs resistance is what happens when we overuse antibiotics in treatment of humans, animals, and crops. See, if the damn devil went in power, we wouldn't need no antibiotics, man. We wouldn't need to use it on crops. What the hell are you using antibiotics on crops for? Alright? What are you using it on animals for? Let's see, they grow this food in mass scale and all the damn GMO chemicals, so now they gotta try and offset what they didn't put in there in the first place. It says when a new antibiotic is introduced, it can have great, even life-saving results for a while. But then the bacteria adapt, Gradually, the antibiotic becomes less effective, and we're left with a disease that we don't know how to treat. All right? Yeah. Because is Yahweh Shah mocking you. All right? This is 2nd Esdras, chapter 16, verse 17. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils, what shall I do when these evils shall come? Evils are bad times, right? It's a whole bunch of bad times going on right now, right? It says, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. It says, but for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Yeah, man, they don't care about these scourges. And I got that word queued up, right?
Scourge.
It says plural scourges. It says a whip used as an instrument of punishment. Yeah, Yahweh Shah is punishing these people, man. All right? It says a person or thing that causes great trouble or suffering. Ooh. It says a person or thing that causes great trouble or suffering. Amen. Great trouble or suffering. It says, although the report focused on the U.S., this is a global crisis. 700,000 people around the world die of drug-resistant diseases each year. Check this out. So I don't know if y'all know about this, but the bubonic plague has surfaced in China. This article was November the 15th, 2019, year Karagma. All right. Says 2 patients have been diagnosed in Beijing with the most dangerous form of the plague. Says the medieval disease, also known as the Black Death. The announcement sent shockwaves rippling through China's northeastern capital as authorities attempt to tamp down fears of an epidemic by censoring Chinese language news of the hospitalization. On Tuesday, Beijing authorities announced a municipal hospital had taken a married couple from Inner Mongolia, a sparsely populated autonomous region in northwest China, seeking treatment for the pneumonic plague. It says one patient is stable while the other is in critical condition, but not deteriorating, according to Beijing's health commission. And you know, China lie about a lot of stuff, man. Can't trust what they say. Let's read this again. All right. It says the beginning of sorrows and great mourning, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear. Yeah, man. They're trying to hold up the lines of communication because they're standing in fear. All right. It says China's northeast capital, as authorities attempted to tamp down fears of the epidemic by censoring Chinese language news of the hospitalization. All right, let's go to this last article. These plagues coming in all type of ways, man. This red tide has now came back, you know. Yes, shit. Salakia. Alright, so this says red tide keeps spreading up and down Florida's west coast. November 15th, 2019, year Karagma. As you can see. And that red tide kills everything in the water. Alright, it's another plague sent out as a scourge on the world. The red tide is continuing to bleed along Florida's west coast. According to Florida's Fish and Wildlife Conservative Commission, Conservation Commission. I'm not gonna read all this. Lord willing, I'll put it in the description box. Let's get back to the scriptures. So this is Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 7. It says, and the Lord Yahweh Shah will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. All these nations hate the Israelites, man. All of them has persecuted the Israelites. All right? And thou shalt return and obey the voice of the Lord Yahweh Shah and do all his commandments, which I command thee this day. All right? Let's jump to these curses. So this is what Yahweh Shah is turning back on our enemies. All right? This is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 21. And the Lord Yahweh shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee, until he have consumed thee off the land, whether thou goest to possess it. And the Lord Yahweh shall smite thee with a consumption, and with a fever, and with an inflammation, and with a extreme burning, and with the sword, and with the blasting, and with the mildew, and they shall pursue thee until thou perish. So Yahweh is turning these plagues back on our enemies, right? Let's get to who are some of our enemies. Psalms 83, all right? It says, keep not thy silence, O power, hold not thy peace, be not still, O power. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee. It's going to start naming them. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites, of Moab, Edom and the Moab, Chinese and the so-called white man, America, the Hagarenes, Africans, Gabal, Africans, and Ammon, Japanese, and Amalek, fake Jews, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre, more Africans. Ashur also is joined with them. They have hopen the children of Lot, right? Selah. So these are the nations that's our confederate that had us in captivity, man. All right? So Yahweh Shah is doing a beautiful work, man. It's a beautiful time that we living in. He's putting these plagues back on our enemies. That's Scourges for amendment, right? It's a beautiful thing, man. All right? And that was really unreal right here, man. It says, although the report focuses on the U.S., this is a global crisis. 700,000 people around the world die of drug-resistant diseases each year. All right? Lord willing, it's been edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Much respect to the brothers labored in this truth in sincerity worldwide to wake up the elect of the children of Israel. Till the next time, I say Shalom.